Hello, I'm Galahad, and today I will be reviewing the Razer Viper 8K gaming mouse, except I won't be objectifying it to only be looking at the 8000 Hz polling rate, and instead we'll be looking at it as a sum of its parts, because it's not just its 8000 Hz polling rate, you monsters! However, that will be fully explored in part 2. So let's get nerdy. Starting off, the Razer Viper 8K, or in some markets, the Razer Viper V2, will be replacing the original Viper. It still retains the same true ambidextrous design, so you left-hand users not only get a cake, but can eat it too. I still have no idea what that idiom actually means. This mouse is made specifically for claw or fingertip grip due to not being wide and tapering in the middle. I and other users with that grip style find it to be quite comfortable. Palm doesn't work well for it because it has absolutely no hump on the back for your palm to rest and is rather short. Personally, my hands are 19 by 10 centimeters and I use claw grip and it is super comfortable. I can palm it, but not super comfortably as the bottom of my palm rubs against the mouse pad. The Speedflex cable is the same except for it being slightly thicker to support the increased bandwidth, as this guy has been hitting the roids hard and has seen some serious gains, man! Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of this sheath because it's quite stiff and not in a good way. When I first got mine, it was bent downward, which was causing it to drag across my mouse pad like a dead body and ruin my glide. So I did a bit of surgery using tape to get it nice and stiff in the correct direction, and now it glides well without any issues. Also, I highly recommend a bungee, if you're into that sort of thing. For those of you interested in paracording, I've also heard that it could cause issues due to the thickness of the wire and possible interference with the 8000 Hz. So check the description for more information on that. The logo on the back of the mouse still retains the same bright and accurate Chroma RGB lighting that Razer products are known for. The logo disappears completely when the lights are off for those who want a nice, clean, sleek look. It comes with 8 programmable buttons, which include 2 primary clicks, a middle mouse button, 2 left side clicks, 2 right side clicks, and a DPI switcher on the bottom. Unfortunately, none of them are modular. If you're reading between the lines, you also realize that even though it says 8 programmable buttons, only 5 of them are really feasible for use, as the right side buttons for a right-handed user are pretty much useless. Since I've been using the Viper Ultimate for some time, I've gotten used to not hitting the right side buttons, but it can be an issue and I've disabled mine, so if I do hit them, which is normally in intense situations, it doesn't mess me up and get me killed. Yes, I am speaking from experience. These side buttons are also a point of contention as they are nearly flush with the rubber siding, which makes them difficult to press for some users. Personally, they took some getting used to at first, but I acclimated quickly and now see them as any other side button. On my model, they are some of the best I've tried, as the pre/post travel is mild with strong spring back force, leading to a very satisfying click. I may have hit the lottery here, as in general they have mild pre/post travel with moderate spring back force, making them feel ever so slightly mushy. It uses the same material as their previous version, which to me feels like PBT plastic. A lot of people report this feels cheap and don't like it. It also has injection molded rubber sidings, which sound really awesome, and also some users may be concerned about that peeling off, but since they are actually built directly into the shell instead of through adhesive, this isn't an issue. It retains the same price point of $79.99, which to me is the very upper end of a wired mouse, but since it's sporting all of the top of the line specs along with future-proofing, the 8000 Hz, and taking the cost of R&D, I'm okay with it. I also wouldn't be surprised if this goes on sale a lot to try to brute force 8000 DPI becoming a norm in gaming. Moving on to the upgrades, up first is the sensor. Previously, it only came with the 3rd best sensor on the market. The Razer 5G optical sensor, which supports a pithy 16,000 DPI, 450 inches per second, 50G acceleration and 99.4% accuracy, which is slightly better than the Hero, Banff, and 3389. The 3370 sensor just recently came out and offers like 0.1% more accuracy and I think better DPI, but stats are hard to find on it because it's so new. But regardless, it has now been upgraded to the best sensor on the market by some margin, which is the Focus Plus sensor. This guy is an absolute monster. It supports 20,000 DPI, 650 inches per second, 50G max acceleration with 99.6% resolution accuracy. They also added smart features to further increase the accuracy. These include smart tracking, which is a fancy word for adjustable lift-off distance, asymmetric cutoff, which is just a fancy word for adjustable landing distance, and motion sync, which syncs the exact intervals the PC refreshes with the mouse to give you the most up-to-date positioning of your mouse. I'm in love with this sensor. Honestly, I sleep with it in my bed every single night and just snuggle up to it. Just kidding, that'd be weird. It feels more responsive and more accurate than any other sensor I have tried, and that's not even including the 8000 Hz polling. Up next, they've upgraded the optical switches to their second generation. These are supposed to have tighter tolerances, which means less defects, with improved tactile feedback, making them feel closer to traditional mechanical switches. If you want more info on them, check the description, but general consensus is that these are a lot better than the Gen 1, and most would report that alone would make the upgrade worth it. With it being an optical switch, it means it uses infrared technology to actuate, making it immune to double clicks, and means it doesn't require a debounce delay, which plays a crucial part in 8000 Hz as it eliminates this as a bottleneck. They are rated for 70 million clicks. I now have 3 mice with these second gen switches. They beat most mechanical switches in click presence, but aren't quite as good as the best mechanical switches out there, such as those that come with the Logitech G Pro X Superlight. Otherwise, they are superior. Out of the 3 that I own, both the Viper and Viper Ultimate have very crisp clicks, very close to mechanical switches. These require mild actuation force, mild pre-travel, moderate post-travel, and strong spring-back force, making them feel very crisp and snappy. Third on the DeathAdder V2 Pro has mild pre/post-travel and moderate spring-back force, making it feel a bit mushy. None of them have any creaks, crunching, or other abnormalities like there were for the Gen 1s. The scroll wheel is also nearly flawless in my opinion. It requires light force to move, with extremely defined steps, is straight with normal noise. Middle mouse click requires light actuation with low pre/post travel with a very satisfying click. They have increased the onboard memory profiles from 1 to 5, so you know that's earth-shattering, but you still can't save lighting, so boo. They have improved the PTFE feet. They are now thicker, white, and 100% PTFE, which provides a better glide. I don't find them to be scratchy and they glide well. I don't know how to accurately review PTFE feet. So you people that are really into buying third-party skates will probably want to do so once again. Last, with all the changes and increases the weight from 69 grams to 71 grams, so now it's a humongous fat whale and everything is room. Moving on to the conclusion, I wouldn't look at this mouse as just having 8000 Hz, but instead as a top-of-the-line gaming mouse that also supports 8000 Hz, as it comes with a true ambidextrous design supporting both left and right hand users, working best for claw and fingertip grip. It has 8 programmable buttons, but really only 5 are usable. The side buttons and primary buttons have mild pre-travel with strong spring-back force, leading to a very satisfying crisp click. The scroll wheel requires light force with defined steps and is a dream to use. It has the same brilliant Chroma RGB lighting that Razer is known for. It has been upgraded to have the best sensor on the market, 5 onboard profiles, second generation optical switches, and thicker 100% PTFE feet. Unfortunately, the Speedflex cable leaves a lot to be desired and may not support paracording. With them using the same material and it being 71 grams, it can come across as feeling cheap, even though I haven't noticed any creaking at all in the shell. Not everyone is a fan of the injection molded rubber sides or the side buttons, and due to the premium components and R&D cost, it runs for $79.99. Oh, and last, it has 8000 Hz, which really does make a difference. Find out why in the next video. Like, dislike, subscribe, share social media if you'd like. Otherwise, I will see you and your beautiful face on the next one. God bless, and peace out.